Hi, everybody. So my name's Lisa, and so I was inspired today to just come in and talk a little bit about vices. And this was inspired not only by what I was writing about today earlier, just like some private stuff that I write, and or personal. I won't say that's private because sometimes I just like I just put myself all the way out there, like on my Instagram and even on this YouTube channel. So, but anyway, then I was like taking a shower, getting my day going. And on my shuffle, this song came on by Miranda Lambert, and it's called Vice. And it just was so fitting with where I was at and like what I was like writing about. And, a vice, in case you don't know, because I was never aware of words like vice until after after I got sober, and someone else like kind of like just filled me in on a whole nother world of existence. And a vice is something that you gravitate towards to fill like an emptiness inside. Ultimately it's inside, but it's like the most like prominent one for me, outside of drugs and alcohol, is like sex and men. Like they pretty much like go hand in hand, and so it's like, so I'm like listening to this song and I'm just like getting like inspired, and I can like feel it, and it's like all like coming in. I'm like just seeing my experience with and how I've done it like throughout the years. And it's not even to say that like right now in my life, I've like totally learned how to not dive down a path of like feeding my ego, because a lot of times, I'll just back it up a second. So I used to, in relationships like with men, I would get in these relationships with men, usually emotionally unavailable men, because that was just like they're just like the men that I gravitated to for a really long time. And so I would like, let's say like I'll call him and say, hey, you want to come over, whatever, because I was always like trying to please, like I would like turn into this woman that was like, I would cook. I'm like a really great cook, but turns out like if I'm like really being honest, like I hate to cook. You know why? Because I hate doing dishes. Okay. So take me out to dinner like any day, or help me with the dishes afterwards, or do the dishes, because I hate doing dishes. I like to cook, but so anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked, but like, and I'd cook these extravagant meals and like whatever, and like have them come over, and I'd like in my mind, it was like this big, beautiful thing, and, so sometimes like they would be like, oh, well, they would either like cancel, or they would come over and it wasn't like as big a deal to them as it had been to me. And I would get butthurt about it. And then, but it really had nothing to do with them. I know that, there have been times in my life, like where, men have not answered my call, said they would, but they didn't, and it's left me with this feeling of worthlessness. And that's the part where the whole vice thing kicks in, because I know for me, because all I'm speaking about is my experience, like with this whole thing. And so I'm like really hot, like, so, but, so it would kick in this feeling of worthlessness. Okay. And I would talk to this woman, and she would be like, I'd be like, should I call, should I call him back? Like, why should I call him again? Maybe he just got stuck somewhere, whatever, blah, 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 making all these excuses, And, or I'd be like, I would talk to them and be like, oh, I'm never going to talk to you again if you don't do this. Or should I call him and be like, let me just tell him I'm never going to talk to him again because he's like never, because he didn't show up or because he's ignoring me again, you know? And my friend would say, Lisa, listen to that. Listen to yourself. Like, you're going to call him to tell him you're not calling him anymore. Like, she's like, you can do it, you know? But, you know, she'd tell me I could do it because, you know, you can do anything you want as long as you're willing to deal with the consequences of your action, you know? And so I would like, and she'd be like, you know, I've done it. I've done it a million times. You know, I've called 50 times, 75 times, you know, whatever, like maybe not in a row, but, you know, it's like just in her lifetime. And staying on the same cycle of like trying to fill that worldly worthlessness inside me, or worse, I would be upset with one, and then I would call up another one that I knew would like totally feed my ego, and it would be like a drug. Like I'd be like, okay, I still got it, you know, like somebody that would freaking like drop everything and come and be with me or whatever, you know. And either way, it's like I'm hurting someone. It's not fair to the person that's like willing to drop everything and come be with me, you know, because honestly, I'm using them, you know, and to fill a void in me, you know, that's only a temporary fix. Because as soon as that person leaves, like I go back down to remembering the whole reason I called that person to begin with, which is because I felt worthless, because an emotionally unavailable person that I was trying to get attention from was ignoring me. So, you know, I was told to, instead of like making the phone calls and trying to call them back, or making the phone call towards the other person to try and like come over and feed my ego, I was told to do something good for myself, do something that would make me feel good about myself, so that I could start to associate that feeling with a positive reaction to it, rather than staying on that same cycle of reaching for another vice. Now, did I do it? No. You know, I didn't do it for a really, really long time. I fought it because I just didn't think that that was the answer. And I didn't feel like they knew what they were talking about. And yeah, so I would, I continued to do this for a really long time. And it took a lot more heartbreak for me to really grasp. And I'm not even sure that I still like really grasp the severity of it, you know. And I know that I don't stay like feeling worthless as long as I did, you know, because I do know my worth today. I have done things to make me feel better about myself, but I'm human too, you know. It still stings when you want something or someone, you're waiting for someone, and you get rejection. I mean, like rejection hurts, you know? And so I feel like that's normal, you know? And, you know, just recently I had like a experience with this whole like vice thing that made me get to another level of understanding of it, for me anyway, you know, because I was feeling low. I just wanted to feel anything than the raw heartache that I was feeling. And so I like sent out a text, you know, and I did not get a response. And I was like so grateful I didn't get a response, because I realized that when I sent out the text that like it's literally the second that I sent it out, I was like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, this is like totally, I'm just like, this is not what I want. Like, I'm totally trying to put a Band-Aid over something else, you know? And it's like, this is that time, this is that moment of like, where when I'm feeling like this, to do something good for myself, you know? I have been practicing that, okay? And I say practice because I don't know, like, who knows? Like, do you ever, can you ever completely emotionally heal all your wounds? Like, for me, I feel like that would mean like you're some kind of like spiritual master or something. I don't know, you know, I don't know. And I know that I have moments where I can of clarity, you know, where I'm clear and I'm decisive, you know, but you know, there's other moments where, you know, like I send a text, or I stay in bed a little bit longer and sulk, or, you know, I skip my workout because it's like this self-sabotage things, these vices, you know. I eat a chocolate chip cookie, which isn't bad, but for me, it's like what it does for me is it like sends me on a spiral of shame, you know? And because I can't eat chocolate chip cookies. I love chocolate chip cookies, but it's like it's counterproductive to how I really want to feel, and it doesn't work with like what I'm trying to do with my body, like for me. Okay. So, you know, it's like all these like different things. And it's like, so I know for me, I have to like check my motives. Do I always know? I'm just telling you, like, this is what I've done. And it's taken me a long time to even like acknowledge that I have to do this. Okay. Because I don't want it to be this way, because this way requires like discipline and this and action, you know, and it's like really, I mean, doesn't everybody just want to like snap their fingers and like have what they want? You know, I want what I want when I want it. And it's like, it just doesn't work that way. Anything worth having is worth working hard for. And when I say that to myself, I'm reminded that I'm a fighter, you know, and it's not even about being a fighter. Like, I'm willing to work for what I have. You know, I want peace of mind. You know, I want to get to that place, like that unshakable place where no matter what is done or said or how I'm feeling, that it doesn't get to me, you know. But the truth is that, you know, I'll probably always be affected in some way or another. It's really though like how long I choose to stay there. You know what I mean? I want to heal. That's one thing that I do know for sure. So in healing, it's like pushing past those feelings of like shittiness, you know, pushing past that feeling of like, because feeling worthless about myself because I'm rejected by somebody else, that's like, that's on me. You know what I mean? So it's like, I have to like look at myself and be like, well, why? You know, like, what's wrong with me? Like, nothing's wrong with me, you know? And what's wrong with them? Like, who cares? It doesn't matter, because like nobody else is like, they're not my business. Like, I don't know. I try to mind my own business. You know, that's really helped me to work on myself, is learning to mind my own business. It's freed up my time tremendously, okay, and allowed me the space to really evaluate what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. You know, I have been one of those people throughout my life that I have like really given my power away to people. And I know that I refuse to continue living there. And so in refusing to continue living there, that means that I have to take responsibility for my choices and my actions. Is that always comfortable? No. Okay. But it's also why, like, on a lighter note, like why I cut my own hair, because I was sick of going to hairdressers and having them screw up my hair. So it's like, if I'm going to be mad, I might as well just like be mad at myself. So I just like do it myself and I'm totally satisfied. Like it totally just takes away the, like, I don't have to be angry anymore, you know, because it's like, I did it and it's like, okay, like I'm all right with this, you know? And, anyway, so, you know, my whole purpose of even like sharing these stories is just like in hopes that like, well, honestly, it's just because like God puts it on my heart to share them, you know, and hopefully like somebody, it doesn't take somebody as long as it took me to start putting action behind like these little things, because it's just like little things, you know, like when somebody like calling somebody and saying, I'm never going to talk to you, like, no, you know, like your silence will, will, will speak, you know, it's like, why do you want to, like, this is what I had to ask myself is like, why, what is it in me that wants to get this attention? Like, why am I wanting attention from somebody who is just like not willing to share with me, you know? Like, what is it? Like, am I that like, is it, do I have like, what is my own issue here that I'm dealing with? Like, and it takes like being honest with myself, you know? And that's like a whole nother level of like, I mean, because honesty with myself, it's like denial ain't just a river in Egypt, you know, like that saying. It's like I can be as honest as my ego can allow me at the time. You know what I mean? It's like there's some things that have taken a lot longer to open my eyes up to because it's hurt my ego, you know, and my pride. And yeah, so shit goes deep, you know, but I'm worth the work. And I finally believe that. And it's not something that I just decided to do overnight and I did everything overnight. Like, this has been a very slow process for me, you know? And, but I still show up to do it because peace of mind is everything. For me, like, I just feel like without my peace of mind, I have nothing. And the only one who is responsible for my peace of mind is myself. And so that's why I am choosy with whom I share my time with, whom I follow on Facebook, whom I follow on Instagram, like who I watch on YouTube, like, because it's just, it all matters. It all like it all affects me, you know, and I don't need to, anyway, peace of mind. When it all comes down to it, I'm responsible for my own peace of mind. And trying to achieve that level of comfort that I have, like when I'm just like peaceful in my mind and comfortable in my own skin by reaching for vices just because I feel uncomfortable at the time, rather than working through it to try and understand that, or trying to do something positive to counteract my need to act out, like filling my own void. I mean, who wants to do that? Everybody, like, you know what I mean? It's like, I know I didn't, but I know because I've reached for filling up my own cup before allowing somebody else to fill it up with whatever the hell they want to fill it up with, or, you know, maybe they just put a drop in, or settling for drops and crumbs from somebody else and thinking that's enough, you know, but still be like, you know, cravings stuff. It's like, since I've chosen to fill up my own cup, or learn to fill or practice filling up my own cup, it happens more often and it's so much more satisfying. And so, yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. And thank you for listening. If you watched this long, I appreciate it. And I will see you soon. Bye. Have a great day.